Career? What career, man? Courier, you idiot. But it's only a rumour, see, said Taffy the North Walian. Don't the people from North Wales speak funny? Very, very deliberate in his speech was our Taffy. So it turned out that we were going to Korea in November, stay there for a year, then on to Hong Kong for a further 2 years. That's a 3-year tour of duty, without home leave. And nowadays they complain about a 6-month tour. During the Second World War, Ina's father, and many others, were away 4 and 5 years, coming home to wives and children they hardly knew. The weeks flew by now. Machinery and all sorts of equipment were being greased and packed ready for the 5-week cruise on HMT the Empire Fowey, scheduled to arrive just before Christmas 1954. Finally, we were on embarkation leave. Whilst on leave, Ina and I got engaged. Then back to Germany and the final preparations to leave the comfort of the West for the doubtful charms of the East. Well, here we were on board, crammed into tiny bugs, nowhere to unpack any kit, everything kept in our kit bags, but on the upside there wasn't a square to do any square bashing on. The second day that we were on board and the day following were the worst days of the journey. In fact, I can safely say that they were the worst days of any journey I have undertaken before or since. The Bay of Biscay. Everyone from the captain down was seasick. You could not get into a toilet. The lads who had them first wouldn't come out. The next best place to get to was the rail, but it was the same story there. The decks were awash with sick. But after a while, there isn't anything left inside you to throw up, so you just heave. For 2 days there was no respite. The pain was debilitating, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. Then the sea calmed, and boxes of apples appeared. We hadn't eaten anything for 2 days. There was no way we could have eaten anything for those Biscay days. And when I had an apple, I thought that nothing could taste nicer. I even ate the pips. But enough of my gourmet meals. What about the cruise? Once we were out of British waters and well on our way to Korea, we were given an FFI, free fag issue. Mind you, in the months to come, we were to know FFI by its correct name, free from infection. Oh, the shame of being stood naked in a freezing cold tent, after a tepid shower, after weeks of wearing the same clothes, then being sprayed with a powder to kill anything that was crawling on you. But oh, the joy then of putting on fresh, clean long johns, a new combat suit, and getting warm again. So, on board the Empire Fowey, how did we pass the time? Well, if we weren't painting something that we had just scraped, or if we had recently been painted by someone else, or if we weren't spud bashing, or toilet cleaning, or boot bulling, or some other unnecessary task, just to keep the discipline, you understand, we played cards for cigarettes, not money. Now, playing cards was something I could do, and I had served my apprentice with the bottom of town boys before joining the army. Poker and pontoon were my forte. We played poker. I had so many cigarettes that it was always my crash. Crash the ash. Pass the cigarettes. I kept a book of how many ciggies people owed me. But being very magnanimous, like all Welsh squaddies, I invariably let them off. Tangent time. The date today is the 6th of September. I started to write this missive, or set of memories, or even autobiography, you might call it, back in March of this year. So it has occurred to me that it may be best, if now and again, I pop the date in, as it may have some significance. I don't know. Anyway, I'll try it. As I've just pointed out, today is the 6th of September. Yesterday, Alan and Rachel popped up from Newport to see us. And of course, they brought the main reason for the visit with them, Dylan Marcus. I think he is now 5 weeks old, and he's already as tall as me. I held him for the first time and explained to everyone how babies speak in their own sign language. As usual, no one believed me. Living so far away from Newport, I don't think we will have the same relationship with Dylan Marcus as we had with Kieran. Kieran virtually lived with us during his formative years, and for at least 12 or so years came on holiday with us every year. The love, however, is no different. Back on board the Empire Fowey, a terrible smell started to pervade the whole of the ship. There was no escape from it anywhere. Then it dawned on us. We were nearing Port Said and the Suez Canal. The smell became so bad you could almost taste it. As we entered the Suez Canal, lots of small boats came alongside us, keeping pace with our ships. The Arabs on the boat all had different wares to sell, and every Arab's name, for some reason or other, was McGregor. We called the boats bum boats. An Arab would agree a price with a squaddy for some fruit, or a watch, or almost anything you could get onto a bum boat, then put the item into a bag on the end of a very long pole and pass it up to his customer. I remember a squaddy buying an expensive watch, then putting in the basket much less than the agreed amount and running from the rail laughing, only to find that the watch had no workings in it. He immediately dashed back to the rails, only to find that the Arab, laughing, was moving his boat to another position. And when he shouted after him, McGregor, all of the Arabs answered, "Hello."